Okay, guys. Now I think we're cooking with peanut oil. Because look what I did. Of course, we're on the Queen's page. But now, luckily, look at me. I can go back and forth. I didn't know how to do that. And I think whatever I did made it crash. And then when I pulled the internets back up, it immediately went live. So I was just like sitting here doing nothing. Y'all are going to have to bear with your girl while she tries to figure out life over here. I've been wanting to do this for so long. I've been wanting to do it for so long. Okay, now my everybody's got these like incredible setups, and I'm like, Amazon mic. I don't even care. Who cares? It works just as good. At least I think so. If y'all can't hear me, like actually, she sounds like she's in a tunnel. I do apologize. But okay. Talking about is this facial tracking, right? I posted yesterday about this Lance Twiggs. I zoomed in on it because somebody brought out a great point that it just doesn't look like the pictures that we've seen of him. But see how his face is just kind of ghostly white. So lighting is a big deal in facial tracking. And then they'll have an actual video and then they edit a certain section. So the first thing I noticed was this eye right here is moving separately from this one. And somebody in the comments, which I loved, I wonder if I can pull those up, but somebody in the did y'all see his mouth just there? That's not normal. Allegedly. This is not normal movement. See how his mouth is closed on the sides? So if you go to this post, I kind of have it explained in here about the facial tracking and everything here. More. All right. Facial tracking is the foundation. Software detects the face and maps dozens and hundreds of landmarks. So this is like pretty much what they're doing in Hollywood, guys, when they're taking a live person and putting all the green dots on them and then they turn them into like a monster or something like that. All of this stuff is very doable. If this is where it is. Okay, so you can tell because of the mouth. And this is something that you can see in the video too. You don't really see his teeth. It's like this blurred stuff going on inside of his mouth. That's a clue, guys. That's a clue. The blinking rates. I noticed somebody say he only blinked once. I think I maybe saw him blink twice. But who literally does this kind of movement with their eyeballs, just spinning their eyeballs around? Y'all can't even really see me because I'm a little bitty thumbnail over there. But does this kind of movement and they don't blink. Here's what I've noticed that we've seen from everybody on this side of the aisle is every time they talk, they're doing that nervous, constant blinking. Oh, everybody but Lance Twiggs, guys. Lance Twiggs has zero emotion. Lance Twiggs has just this stronger authority core to him. He doesn't need to blink. He's a non-blinker. Lance Twiggs doesn't need to blink, but maybe once while he's looking around with his weird lizard eyes. Another thing that we can focus on about our, just really confident Lance Twiggs. Well, why are his eyeballs just solid black and just moving around like a chameleon? He's got the confidence of a god. So if y'all look up anything about facial tracking, what you notice about him, his hair kind of stays the same. His forehead is staying the same. His cheeks kind of stay the same. His body, what I noticed at first is he was just like barely moving. And I'm like, that's not normal. Like, why is this guy barely moving? Well, if you use that facial tracking that you overlay with any type of AI, and this is all allegedly and in my opinion, but if you use any kind of tracking like that, you can't have quick movement. You can't be doing all sorts of stuff because you're making it hard. And it really just looks like his eye shape and his mouth and obviously his jaw. Like, I think that's why they made him stop chewing gum, y'all, because it's so much harder to edit. And I think if you notice in Lance Twiggs, I don't even know what it's called, wherever he was being questioned in that video got submitted because they weren't going to actually bring him in so that the defense could cross-examine, which is already, this is my thing. If you want us to believe you, why are you doing things like this? Why would you do stuff like that? Like, it just doesn't help. So I think they made him stop chewing gum because of the facial tracking. because it's almost like they had actual audio of Tyler, and then if they had his audio, then they could easily edit audio any way that they wanted to, and then they were matching the audio to facial tracking AI. And if he's chewing gum, that's why the clip that I shared was from the beginning where his mouth was messing up a lot. Well, he's chewing gum while he's doing it, but one of the things when I was looking into the facial tracking is that you literally have to be, like, with your mouth closed. So, if he's sitting there just with his mouth closed, chewing gum, the jaw is moving and it's trying to track all of that. But if you look at the video that I shared, you can see the sides of his mouth don't move. They're like this. And then the insides of his lips are like doing weird things. And then here's what happened. I saw somebody's post where they were talking about that version of Lance Twiggs allegedly didn't look like the pictures that we've seen of him, where he's like holding the books and he's like looking all sideways with his hat on, looking totally suspect. He almost looks Play-Doh in the video, and lighting is another thing. Like the lighting has to match up on the facial tracking. So he's got this lighting over him. He looks Play-Doh. He looks like a statue. He's not moving. His lips are doing weird things while the outsides of his mouth don't move. His eyes, like this is the first thing I noticed. All of a sudden, one eye is like, "Reek, reek," and then the other one followed it afterwards. And I was like, what is that? Because I was trying to compare the pictures with what we saw of him yesterday. And I'm like, God, this is weird. Like, there's just something off. You know how in your gut you can just feel something's like uncomfortable? Like, it felt like that when we were watching him. And then we've got to talk about why is all of the footage always the worst quality ever? So I'm talking to this person that I know that's very knowledgeable about VR and gaming and all of this kind of stuff. So techie world. And they go, yeah, lower quality is really kind of the only way you can show any type of AI or editing because you can't tell as much. So motivated by politics and trans ideology, it doesn't even make sense. Like, I don't see it. I don't see it. That he decided to murder Charlie Kirk for trans viewpoints that Tyler held so dearly. He never even expressed them to his boyfriend. What a great point. Until a stunning text message confession after the murder shows us via a picture on Lance's phone, which just happens to be smashed in the very corner that would allow us to verify what time these photos were taken. I love her. This is all very dangerous. Government is playing a very dangerous game here. Yes. Here's the bad part, right? Everybody that's going to fall for this trial is going to be our boomers. They're going to be our Fox News watchers. They're going to be our, the people that have no clue that Turning Point and Erica Kirk just are implicated in so many things because they're not paying attention because they have jobs and they have lives and they have everything like that, right? They're not cool like us, where we've been just watching everything nonstop because we believe in justice. And I have to know things. I have to know all the things, which means I'm constantly plugged in. I have to know. They're going to just watch what they saw out of this trial. They're not going to understand. They're going to be like, oh, well, there's this face. There's no way that's an AI edited video recording. No. Why would they do that? They would never show false AI people, not Turning Point USA. Why would they suggest that? Would never happen. Ever. Right, guys? And we're all just sitting here like, dude, they already tried to do this to Charlie. They were already talking about doing this before all this whole time. They think they can just use somebody's likeness and edit it and manipulate it any way they want. But imagine this. What if that's the last time we're ever going to see Lance Twiggs because something happens to Tyler Robinson? He has a heart attack or he commits suicide on himself in prison because that's so hard to do. So then Lance is never going to have to get in front of anybody. We're never going to see his real mannerisms. We're never going to hear his real voice. We're never going to understand any of it because he's just Patsy number 2. So they're like, we're just going to AI edit this, manipulate it a little bit here and there, but we don't like something, we'll take it out. We're editing masters. And we're going to present it to the court in, 2 DPI. Smallest megapixel projection possible in 2026, like we're in when TVs just got released or whatever. It frustrates me that anybody would even give it the time of day, but it's fine, you know? It's not our job to make people understand things. We can only do so much. We can only control ourselves, everyone. Nobody needs to die. We're not doing any more dying. That even goes for long live Miss Erica Franzweg, okay? Now, I want a full report on anybody who sees her cry because she's so mad her last little piece of evidence didn't get broadcasted to the world, because that's the whole plan. It was a stage. Everything is a stage. So we've got them just giving us crap footage, which we all know. Even the car that pulled up in front of the house, which Baron Coleman called it like it looked like it was underwater. Why is it all black and white? Like, I have a Ring door camera, and at nighttime, everything doesn't look like. Look at this guy's hair. Oh, poor fellow. That's an up close shot right there. So there's just every bit of footage that we have. Oh, shout out to Project Constitution. I don't know if y'all saw his latest post where there's actually another person on the roof. What? I shared it, but I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? This is the biggest joke of a show trial, allegedly, in my opinion. We're getting crap evidence. The defense hasn't even been able to get any of this evidence with any of the original information behind every photo, behind every video. They're just like, trust me, bro, we don't get any of it. And then they're broadcasting this live. Here's my thing. What makes them think we're going to fall for any of this crap? Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand. Get it this way. All of our kids make stupid choices, right? Every kid on the planet makes a dumb choice. Think of yourself when you're 20 years old. Imagine you make this dumb choice because you're just hanging out with the wrong people. You get mixed into this wrong situation, and then you're a part of something that just got way bigger than you ever imagined it would be. And then your life is in danger, and now everything's getting blamed on you. You're going up against foreign involvement, White House, Department of War, Pentagon, FBI, Turning Point USA, huge donors. All, like, how do you defend yourself from that? That's a scary thought. And there is reasonable thought that is what's going on in this case. That is terrifying. All I can ever do is put myself in other people's shoes. And I just literally think, as a mom, I think, like, what if my kid made that stupid mistake and I was going through this crap right now? It's really scary, guys. Allegedly. The whole situation is alleged, of course, but I feel like there's more evidence that I have seen since September 10th that there are way more people involved than this kid. And then your roommate gets exonerated. Like, imagine if Lance was just as involved, but because he's a yap, actually a coward, because he's a coward, he gets exonerated. I'm going to say this too. His video yesterday that got played, that clearly has stuff being manipulated, allegedly. I guess I can't say like clearly and allegedly. His face allegedly looks as if it has been manipulated. We don't know what this kid's going through either, because it's just like the same thing that they're doing with Charlie Kirk. They're using his likeness for their agenda. They could be doing the same thing for Lance Twiggs. That could not have been his voice. That could not have been his face. That could not have been anything about him. But he's in witness protection. He's probably on some gag order, and they're just the way technology is now, which is not great. Everything we're getting is grainy and horrific. But imagine, I think Lance Twiggs' whole family had to move, and they're all kind of in witness protection, maybe. Like, this is the most insane situation to just get thrusted into because you were playing video games online and you were talking to people on Discord. Literally put yourself in that position. If your kids aren't playing games and they don't understand about all this kind of stuff, you might want to look into it because they all do. This is a possibility that any parent could be in and any kid could be in. Now, the whole, like, I don't even know. Okay. All I know is about being in a straight relationship. But if you're living in an apartment together, do you have separate bedrooms if you're, like, together? Like, I'm even questioning that at this point. Like, they sound like bros. If that voice from Lance Twiggs was even Lance Twiggs, allegedly, in my opinion, right? That's the straightest gay dude I've ever heard. Is that what I'm going to end on right now? Because they're about to talk again. That's the straightest gay guy ever. I have a ton of gay friends. They don't talk like that. I've never heard one. I'm Lance Twiggs. What? That was the deepest, unemotional voice I've ever heard. That is not how gay men, I've never heard a gay man talk like that. Ever. There's character and soul in their voice. They're fun. That was a statue robot with a monotone voice. That is not how gay men act. And we're supposed to believe he's a furry?
All right, and that concludes the playing of...
We're back. Okay, bye, guys.
Stacey Gibbett, 12.